on Sun Valley. Daily local news from beautiful Sun Valley, Idaho.
We may be in the middle of a global pandemic, but the game of golf is in full swing. I'm Michael David with Eye on Sun Valley Sports. With these isolation orders in place, all of us have been yearning for the chance to get out with friends, to socialize, to recreate, and to play. And frankly, the game of golf is the only game in town.
I'm Tyler Jones, Director of Golf Operations at Sun Valley Resort. We're excited to be opening our golf season this year under these uncertain times. We have several policies in place for golfing this year. As you know, we've been fortunate that the state of Idaho has allowed golf throughout this pandemic, but first and foremost is the safety of our employees and our guests and our community while playing golf. We have 36 holes available this Friday, and we're excited that once again, golf is available to be played here in Sun Valley. It's one of my favorite places to play, selfishly, but the 36 holes available are 18 holes at Elkhorn and then 18 holes here at Sun Valley. And with several policies in place given this pandemic. So I think the most significant change right now is the 20-minute tee time intervals. We normally are every 10 minutes, but going every 20 minutes is really only 3 tee times per hour. And along with that, people are able to only be one person per golf cart. And we also allow walking as well, just to make sure we're social distancing appropriately. So single-use golf carts, walking on the golf course, not congregating around the practice range and the first tee and the clubhouse when you finish your round. Unfortunately, staff isn't able to help with golf bags right now and equipment just because of the distancing guidelines. But again, the golf course is in great shape, and it's ready to play and super fun. Well, golf is one of the activities that obviously is allowed under these, uncertain times. And, along with hiking and biking, of course, golf has been an activity that's, remained popular throughout the years here in Sun Valley. And this May has been no different. I mean, we opened May 1st, and our rounds of golf are very stable as they very similar to last year. So I think people were excited that we got open, and it shows. Well, obviously, what's special about playing golf in Sun Valley is the beauty. I mean, we have 45 holes of golf, which is, we brought Elkhorn into the fold in 2011, which gave more opportunity for, more variety of golf. But the White Clouds 9 in 2008 that opened is probably one of the most spectacular 9 holes of golf you'll play anywhere, just because of the 360-degree view around the valley. But Trail Creek, is probably the most popular just because of its beauty. I mean, the creek comes into play on almost every hole on the front 9. The back 9, it also comes into play on the back 9 as well. And it's just the tree-lined parkland style with the mountain views. It's spectacular. We are hopeful that the clubhouse will open. We don't know exactly when that'll be at this time, but we're hoping for mid-June. We do have a Mother's Day brunch that's available this Sunday for takeout, and that information is on the website with a phone number and a place to order. But yeah, we certainly do hope that come mid-June the clubhouse will be open and things are somewhat back to normal. Please come out and play golf at Sun Valley. It's, things aren't exactly the way they normally are, but the golf course is, and they're in great shape, and we look forward to seeing you out here.
Here at Bigwood, the demand for golf is also high. In April, they did nearly 1,400 rounds of golf, as compared to 200 rounds in April of 2019. These are July and August numbers in the springtime, when usually only the die-hard golfers would be out here braving the conditions and getting ready for the golf season. Tee times are hard to come by.
Golf. This is Mike.
Golfers need to call 3 days in advance just to book a time. Despite the pandemic, golf lends itself as a sport and a recreation activity that with a social component that people can come out maintain their 6 feet of distance, and still enjoy times with their friends. Blaine County residents have been so appreciative of the chance to get out, share some laughs, and chase the white ball around the golf course. Other than some protocols to get through the pro shop, golfers, once they're out on the course, can maintain that social distance from tee to green. So that's the state of golf in Blaine County, Idaho. I'm Michael David with Eye on Sun Valley Sports, keeping my eye on the Wood River Valley golf scene during the COVID-19 crisis.
At Sun Valley Associates, we approach our business with a commitment to hard work, honesty, tradition, and community, the values on which this unique valley was built. Through years of experience, we've learned that a successful sale goes far beyond the final transaction. Our team takes the time to truly understand your goals and your family's goals, and to use our combined experience to guide you through your real estate process. Let us help you invest in yourself, your family, and in the Sun Valley lifestyle, the place we happily call home.
Sun Valley Associates Real Estate Brokers, 700 East Sun Valley Road, Ketchum, Idaho.
So we're mods. We have coffee, we have pastries, we have clothing. We sell it all. We have a range of vintage clothing, high-end women's and everyday wear, ranging from Pendleton to fancy going out dresses. Some clothing even dating back to the 20s.
Hi, I'm Jacob. My wife Tara and I are the owners of Mods. We're both a coffee shop and a clothing store. We use Harrison Insurance for everything. Business, auto, renters, even our little dog is insured.
The nuances of our unique business are covered with Harrison, and I don't think that I could have obtained that going to a big insurance company directly.
We feel that if something were to happen tomorrow, we'd be okay because we have Harrison Insurance to help us.
Harrison Insurance for all of your insurance needs. Barry Peterson Jewelers, a luxury jewelry store in Ketchum, Idaho, specializing in custom design and repair.
Jewelry making, I look at as more of architecture. A piece of jewelry is more of a link between a man and or woman and or mankind and the gemstone world. And so there is actually a lot of engineering that goes involved, that I think is involved with making a piece of jewelry that someone's going to wear every single day of their life. That part of the 3D thinking is a huge factor.
Create your custom piece with Barry Peterson today.
Good morning, Eye on Sun Valley. This is Marie's Kitchen, and welcome. Today we're gonna make almost a full meal. I didn't make any dessert, but we're gonna have fish, we're gonna have Brussels sprout, and we're gonna have split peas. Instead of rice, I'm using split peas. I went to the pantry this morning and I decided, I wanted to make rice, but then I decided I have the split peas and I will do split peas. And I will tell you a little bit, I already cooked the split peas. It takes between 25 to 30 minutes to cook, but I will explain. It's very easy to do it. So that's what we're gonna use as instead of potatoes or rice. But the fish today is wild caught halibut. That halibut was caught in British Columbia, Canada, from a friend of mine, and I got that in last February. And I'm happy to share that with you today in my kitchen. So it's about 6 ounces each, and I'm gonna cook that, we say in French, in papillote. And it's very simple. You take 2 pieces of aluminum foil. The first thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take that piece of halibut, I'm gonna put in the middle of it, and I am gonna put some salt and pepper, not much, a little bit. And what I have here, that's my way to do it. As you know, cooking, it's all about feeling. How do you want to prepare it for yourself? I'm giving you basic right now and the way I do it. So what I like to do is to put, and I already slice it, few pieces of onions. In this case is white onions. That's that. Then I'm going to put 2 slices of tomatoes on top, and I'm going to put 2 slices of lemon, and I already pre-cook all of that. I love fennel. I really like fennel. I use it a lot. I eat it raw as a snack, or you can put it in your salad mixed with all kind of salad, romaine, spinach, whatever you wanted to do. And when you buy a fennel, there is always the greens. And I do like that anise taste, you know, like licorice. And I keep the greens. I already ate my fennel, but I keep the greens because when I do fish, I really like to use it. So what I'm gonna do, and that gives a great taste in your fish. So I'm gonna put the fennel on top of it, and you know I love celery. So I'm gonna put a little bit of celery. Celery, it's salty. There is something about celery that I like a lot. So I like to use it a lot. Again, if you don't like celery, if you don't like the greens of the fennel, you don't have to put it in, period. So this is as simple as it gets. And I'm gonna use a little bit of olive oil, just a touch, and you just do this on top of your preparation, and I'm gonna put a tiny bit of salt extra, not much. And the papillote, it's this. You close your aluminum foil, so I go on the top, bottom, top, like this, and then you just fold on the side, and it goes in your plate, just like that, and you repeat. So I take the other piece of halibut, there it is, salt and pepper, not much, and then you put your tomato. Oh, here's my onion, sorry. You put your onions there, and then you put your lemon, just like that, very, very easy. And I'm gonna take my fennel, put it on top, and a little bit of celery. Add another little pinch of salt, not much, and your olive oil. If you want to use butter, you can't. I like using olive oil just because for the fish, that's what I like. Although when I do sole, like petrale sole, I will cook it with butter. But for this, I like a little bit of olive oil. And the steam's gonna cook that. I preheat my oven at 400 degrees. So, and it's gonna cook for about 12 to 15 minutes. Now keep in mind, it's extremely easy, and I insist, extremely easy to overcook the fish. So start with 12 minutes because otherwise it might be overcooked and it's gonna be tough. So again, you fold bottom, top, and side, and this is your papillote. So we're gonna put it there. We're gonna put it in the oven at 400 degrees, and we're gonna cook it for 12 to 15 minutes. I will check at 12 minutes, okay? So here it goes. Your plate goes in the oven. Et voila! See you in a bit. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Gary, manager of the Attic Thrift Store in Haley, and today I'm not here to sell you anything or tell you about any great deals at the Attic. We all know the Attic always has great deals. That goes without saying. Instead, the Attic and its staff would like to give a sincere thank you to all its loyal customers and generous donors who help to make a huge impact in our community. How? For those who don't know, the Attic Thrift Store is a nonprofit that exists to help support the advocates whose mission is to teach people of all ages to build and maintain healthy relationships through education, shelter, and support services. With your help, we are making a difference in ending domestic violence and sexual assault. Every day, lives are changed at The Advocates. Please visit our website at www.theadvocatesorg.org. So from all of us, thank you for shopping and donating to The Attic. You're truly...
Better food, better price, better service. Atkinson's Market, supporting local farmers since 1956.
My name is Megan Murphy-Lingle, and I am the founder of SQN Sport. SQN Sport means sine qua non, and that means only the essential in Latin. The brand is built around the idea of what is essential for sport and an active life. And what we try to do is take away a lot of the extra embellishments on garments that people probably don't need that drive up the cost of the garment. By reducing it, we get a more contemporary, minimal design, and it also meets our brand message, which is what is essential.
Welcome back. So now we're gonna do the second step, and we are gonna cook the Brussels sprout. Actually, the Brussels sprout already cooked, and I will explain that a little bit later. The first thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna turn on my my oven, and I have 3 tablespoons of olive oil, and I'm gonna sweat those yellow onions. And to find out if your oil is warm or hot enough, what I do, I always throw 1 little piece, and then if it starts singing, I know it's ready to be thrown. So I am gonna wait maybe a few more seconds, because it's starting to sing there. And I'm gonna throw, and this is about a cup of yellow onions. So I'm gonna throw them. Oh, there you go, it's singing. Up. Here is your yellow onions. And I start with the high heat. And as soon as I have my onions, I'm gonna put on medium. There it goes. It's between medium high and medium low. So medium, and I am gonna sweat them. I don't want them to caramelize. I just want them to be, and I forgot my salt and pepper, so I'm gonna do a little bit of salt and pepper, not much. And I have 2 cloves of garlic here, and I'm gonna add the garlic with the onions in a little bit, maybe in 2 minutes, because the garlic cooks faster than the onions. So I want the onions to kind of sweat a little bit, and then I will add my 2 cups of Brussels sprout. Okay, my Brussels sprout are already cooked. What I did, you know how to blanch some vegetable. You boil a little bit of water, and then you throw, I throw the whole Brussels sprout, then I cut them when they are cooked. So you throw the Brussels sprout in the hot water, boiling water, and then the water is gonna stop boiling because you are throwing your Brussels sprout. So as soon as the water boil again, then you can cook between 5 and 7 minutes. I cook them only 5 minutes, and the reason is, again, it's your choice, the way you like it. I like my Brussels sprout a little bit crunchy, so I cook them 5 minutes. Now, if you like your vegetable a little bit more cooked, you just let them longer, maybe 2 or 3 minutes longer. So that's the part with the Brussels sprout. There you go. I think my onions are good enough. I'm gonna add up the 2 cloves of garlic. There it goes. And that will stay maybe 1 minute, no more than that. I don't want my garlic to burn. I just don't. But you incorporate the garlic and the onions very well. And don't worry, I'm keeping an eye on the fish because I don't want to overcook my fish. I don't like that. There. I think it's almost time to throw the pre-cooked Brussels sprout. There they are. See, this is about 2 cups of Brussels sprout. I'm gonna throw them easy. A lot of people doesn't like Brussels sprout. I don't know why, because I think it's a great vegetable. but you know, everybody's different. Oh, look at that. The green, the white. There, I'm gonna let them sit. Maybe in 1 or 2 minutes, I'm gonna add some lemon juice. Why is she adding lemon juice? Again, we're talking about taste. I like lemon juice in my Brussels sprout. And some people will add even Parmesan cheese. I won't do that, but you can, because there is recipe with Brussels sprout who call for Parmesan cheese. And I won't do it, just because I don't think it's appropriate for me, for this kind of recipe, to have the Parmesan cheese in my Brussels sprout, because I cook the fish, and I don't think the fish and the Parmesan cheese goes well together. So I don't want the Parmesan cheese. But again, if you want to add, it's an option. It's an option. There. So I love vinegar. I love lemon juice. I love a lot of acidity in certain dish I cook, and this one is one of them. So I'm gonna spray. This is teaspoons of lemon juice. Okay, just because I like it, so I'm gonna add it. But again, if you don't like it, you don't have to, because really, it's not mandatory to do that. But I think it will give that extra touch in the flavor. And this is almost ready. Actually, it is ready. See, when your Brussels sprout are because you pre-cook, remember, you pre-cooked your Brussels sprout. Okay, I have my buzzer saying that my fish is cooked, so I'm gonna turn off. I don't want it to cook more than 12 minutes, and you watch, it will be ready. So I turn off my stove, and I am done with my Brussels sprout, ready to be served, and we will be right back with the final touch.
Better food, better price, better service. Atkinson's Market, supporting local farmers since 1956.
You know, we go through a lot of traumatic mental breakdowns, and as you transition out of the military, you don't get a mental uplift. So if it's a veteran that doesn't know about hyperbarics, well then let's figure out how we can talk, because there's room for you here. It's going to heal you. So, and it starts with the brain regardless of what else is manifesting outside of that, and then spirit comes alive. And that's, for veterans at least, the most important thing is getting their spirit back.
Are you like me and can't stand paying your insurance bill? Just when you pay all your bills for the month, then along comes that dreaded insurance bill, putting the hurt on your checking account. Hello, I'm Mark Balkos, president of Wood River Insurance. That's why Wood River Insurance is an independent insurance agency. This means we have a multiple of insurance companies we offer to our clients. This allows us to hold the insurance companies accountable for coverage, service, and most important of all, pricing. When I started in this business 33 years ago, I only represented one company to my customers. And after a while, I felt as though my hands were tied when trying to be as competitive as I could. As an independent insurance agency, we represent you to the insurance company, not the insurance company to you. This allows Wood River Insurance to be as competitive as possible. So call us today at 208.
Welcome back. So now my favorite, best time of the show, we're gonna taste our dish. And actually this is a full meal. So we are gonna take, be careful, it could be a little bit warm. And remember, the cooking time, it's always according to your oven. In this case, I did add a few more minutes. But when you open your papillote, meaning the aluminum foil, you can see if the fish is cooked or not. So keep an eye on it. And this is the beautiful fish done. So I just wanted to show you. So what I'm gonna do, I am gonna plate the split peas. Look at that. And I really, really rediscovered that it's so delicious. It really is. So, and I'm gonna put my fish on top of, and actually I should have a spatula, so I'm sorry about that. I'm just gonna grab a spatula and I am gonna, and you have that juice too if you want it. Look at this. Isn't it beautiful? This is about 6 ounces. So you put on top of your split pea. Now, if you want to add the juice, you can. I'm not gonna do that, but you can. And I forgot to put my beautiful colors, so I usually like to have colors on my plate. As you know, I love colors. So, and I even have a little bit of carrots just for the colors. And then we're gonna add the Brussels sprout next to it. Look at that. You have a full meal, less than, what, 30 minutes? And let's taste. And also, forgot to mention, this is wild caught. So this fish was caught by my friend who goes fishing on a fishing trip 2 or 3 times a year in British Columbia. I did mention that earlier. But the one you buy at the store might cook faster. So keep in mind also the difference between that. So this one is really, really good. I had it last week. No. Well, it's really good. I know I always say that, but it really is good. Now, the Brussels sprout, mine had kept a little bit crunchy. Remember when I told you I cooked them 5 minutes? But if you like them less crunchy, you cook them more. In the Brussels sprout, this is more like a vegetarian. You can add also some bacon if you like bacon. Not for this recipe, but if you like bacon, you could use that with your Brussels sprout for something else. So, so good. Let's taste the split peas. I really, really like split peas. And I kept mine a little bit crunchy. So what I use, I didn't mention that earlier. I told you I cooked them. I use 1/2 cup of dry split peas and 2 cups of boiling water. And so you boil the water first, throw your 1/2 cup of split peas, and cook it for 20 to 25 minutes. Again, if you like them less crunchy, well, add 5 minutes. And you have it. So, like I say, bon appetit. Thank you for watching Eye on Sun Valley, Marie's Kitchen, and I will see you very soon. Au revoir.
Hi, Mark. I just wanted to take a few minutes just to let you know how thankful us at Wood River Insurance are for all the first responders, healthcare workers, truck drivers, postal workers, grocery store clerks, everybody that's continuing to service the public. We sure appreciate you guys. And to show how serious we are about it, take a look at this. And when you see this sign when you drive by, honk. Show your support.
My name is Keith Perry. and my wife Paul and I are the owners of Perry's Restaurant, operating here since 1985, and we've grown to become a local institution here.
We make almost everything from scratch, including all our muffins, our cookies, our salad dressings. Everything is made to order.
Perry's is open daily at 7 a.m., serving hearty breakfasts, and lunchtime made-to-order sandwiches, soups, and salads, and premium beer and wine.
I always sense a level of honesty, in the music that we create.
It's all about listening to each other and taking styles and blending them.
We just let our music happen, and sometimes it takes us to places where we never thought we could go, and we're looking at each other when we're done going, how do we do that? And that's really the only way that you can create that kind of magic, is to just leave space for it to happen.
Hi, I'm Karen Bosick with Ion Sun Valley. Today we have the great privilege of being here with the newest fool. Yeah, I'm here with Scott Palmer, who is the new director of Company of Fools, which is, as you know, the best theater company in the whole state. Scott, you came over here from Oregon.
I did.
Actually, from a nationally awarded theater group that you built up in your hometown of Hillsboro.
That's correct.
What was it that lured you over to Sun Valley and Haley?
Well, I mean, you just have to walk out the door and realize what it is that lured me here. I mean, the long history of this organization, more than nearly 25 years of commitment to excellence. The combination of Company of Fools and the Sun Valley Arts Center, the beautiful environment, the incredible audiences. I mean, it's a really ideal mixture of the place, the building, the talent, the community. How could you say no? I mean, it just is such a really remarkable opportunity for me.
And you said you walked into the Liberty and you felt at home?
I did. I walked in here and I immediately fell in love. I have a thing for old theater buildings. The company that I founded in Hillsboro called Bag and Baggage, we were housed at the old Venetian Theater, which was a similarly sized, a little bit larger in terms of seats, but about the same period. We worked there for 10 years and I loved every minute of it. So yeah, the minute I walked in the Liberty, I went, oh yeah, I'm home. This feels like home.
So how did you get into theater?
I started off at a very early age. I had a whole bunch of cousins, and so we would spend summers together, and I would play records of like the Muppet Show, and I would direct them and give them all their characters. And sort of in high school, kind of found my tribe with the sort of theater dorks. The coolest kids in high school are the theater dorks. So really have been engaged in the arts from a very early age. Had tried my hand at acting for a number of years, but really I didn't like being told what to do by the director, but I also really liked telling other people what to do. So I figured I was a terrible actor, but could have actually possibly be a good director. So, and ended up studying how to be a theater director.
So you actually started out with a group you founded called Baggage?
Bag and Baggage. Bag and Baggage.
Tell me about that.
Yeah, so when I had lived abroad, I was doing my PhD coursework in Glasgow in Scotland, founded an outdoor Shakespeare company there, had lived in New Zealand for a couple of years, and when I moved back home to Portland, realized that my hometown had grown a lot in the 10 years or so that I was gone, and there wasn't a professional theater company there, and there weren't a lot of professional theaters outside of the Portland area. And so a group of friends and I decided we were going to create a company, and we would tour to small communities in suburban and rural areas that didn't have access to professional performing arts, and we would bring everything we needed with us in our bags and baggage. It's also the first time the word baggage is ever used. It's a Shakespearean invention from As You Like It. So there was a connection both to my interest in Shakespeare and the classics, as well as the fact that we were literally driving around the state with everything we needed in the back of our car. And then after a couple of years of that, we found the Venetian Theater was being refurbished, and we were invited to do a single production there. We did Steel Magnolias as our first show, and it was sold out, and the owner of the building said, "How many more of these can you do?" And then we were there for 10 years as the resident performing arts organization there. Yeah.
And you recently moved into a Wells Fargo Bank?
We did, yes. So unfortunately, the Venetian, they also had a restaurant and bar, and as a result of the economic downturn, I always tell people that the two hardest businesses to keep afloat are theaters and restaurants. And so when you combine the two of them, it was kind of a miracle that the Venetian was operated for 10 years. They eventually closed down, and we were sort of homeless as a company. And so there was an old Wells Fargo bank building that had been built in the late 1940s, sitting empty on Main Street. And working with our local city government, we purchased that space, raised about $1.6 million to turn it into a very cool, state-of-the-art sort of studio theater. And that was finished, and we pushed that boulder up the hill and built this beautiful theater. And I did about a season and a half worth of work in that space, and sort of looked around and thought, I don't know, there might be some bigger dragons out there for me to slay someplace else. I don't know if there are any more hills for me to climb in Hillsborough. And that's when I heard about Company of Fools. Yeah.
Well, we're certainly glad you did.
Thank you.
Tell me about some of the plays you have done over the years. What kind of cutting-edge stuff have you worked on?
Yeah, so I mean, it's interesting because one of the things that really drew me to this position was the fact that Company of Fools and Bag and Baggage really do have a very similar kind of producing history. We love the classics. We love contemporary work. So, for example, our current season at Bag and Baggage, we did an outdoor production of As You Like It, William Shakespeare's As You Like It. And then we did Death Trap, which is a show that I know Company of Fools has done. And we're doing Bell, Book, and Candle, which is a play from the 1950s by a guy named John Van Druten. He's one of the most important playwrights in American history that no one's ever heard of, an amazing guy. We're doing a brand new adaptation of Peter and Wendy called Peter Wendy, which is an adaptation of Peter Pan. And we also do contemporary work. I was just telling you earlier about a remarkable play called The Drowning Girls, which is a new work from a Canadian playwright called Beth Tomlinson, who really beautiful play about three women who all married the same man. It's based on the Brides in the Bath murders from London in the late 1860s. So yeah, it's a mix of classical and contemporary, cutting edge, and really most of my focus is really kind of on social justice and how theater can create a sense of community and really spark conversation and recognize our shared humanity. So that's really been my passion, and I'm really excited to work with this incredible team here to see what we can do in this beautiful space.
And how, for example, are you creating conversation and community with Bell, Book, and Candle?
Yeah, so Bell, Book, and Candle is a fantastic play. It's not very many people know the play, but they know Bewitched, the TV show, which was born out of the play. So Bell, Book, and Candle sort of inspired the television show Bewitched. And it's about this group of kooky witches living in New York, kind of bohemian New York in the 1950s, but they have to be very hidden about their witchcraft and about their supernatural powers. And so in order to kind of engage with our audiences, because it's the holiday season and there's these witches and, it's a fun, engaging show. It all has some heart to it as well. We invited a group of sort of non-traditional religious practitioners from throughout Portland to come and visit with our audiences to talk about Buddhism or about being a Muslim or being a Sikh, sort of non-traditional kind of non-Christian denominations who live and work and raise their kids and go to school all in our own community. It's a great opportunity for people to be in a dark room and watch a show together and then talk with people who aren't like them to really kind of get to understand your neighbors, even if they're not exactly like you. So those are just some of the ways that Bag and Baggage really kind of digs into those conversations around creating community and recognition of who we are as a community together.
And I understand you did a very special adaptation. You adapted
Romeo and Juliet.
You did?
Yes. I have a history of playing pretty fast and loose with Shakespeare. It's not to everyone's taste, but yes, 2 years ago we did an adaptation of Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet and combined it with a 12th century poem, Muslim poem, by one of the greatest writers in the history of the Middle East, Nizami Ganjavi. He wrote an epic poem called Layla and Majnun, which is essentially the story of Romeo and Juliet. Star-crossed lovers, feuding families, parents who don't want their kids to date, all of that stuff. Beautiful, beautiful poem, really remarkable piece of work. And so we sort of combined the two together, Romeo and Juliet and Layla Majnun, into a single show, using both Shakespeare and Nizami Ganjavi's poetry. A really fascinating opportunity for our community to talk about Muslim literature. That's not something people really know a lot about. There are these really fantastic poets, right? Ganjavi is the Shakespeare of the Muslim world. And we don't really have an opportunity to ever get to know that kind of cultural expression from the Middle East. So it was a great opportunity for sort of American audiences, Western audiences to learn about Nizami Ganjavi, but also was a great opportunity for members of the Muslim community and Middle Easterners from around the Portland area to see their own stories told on stage, to have some representation of their stories in theater, which was great fun, and it was a wonderful show, really remarkable experience.
Mm-hmm. Now, Scott, I remember reading a review about you that called you the most ambitious director in Oregon if not the nation.
Yes.
Expound on that for me.
Well, I don't know what that reviewer meant. I have no idea. I mean, I think, I have a pretty deep connection to advocacy for theaters, particularly theaters in suburban and rural areas. I believe really strongly that theaters, really fantastic, high-quality art shouldn't be condensed in the downtown urban core. Chicago and Seattle and San Francisco and Boston are all great theater towns, but so is Haley, Idaho. So is Hillsboro, Oregon. So is Millard, Nebraska. There is no reason that people who choose to live 6,500 feet in the Sawtooth Mountains shouldn't have access to the highest quality work that people who decide to live in Chicago. So I have some ambition for communities like Hillsboro or like Haley to really bring world-class theater to, or in this case, continue bringing world-class theater to these communities and really advocate for that across the country to tell people, look, when we talk about diversity and inclusion, one of the things we often forget is geography, right? So don't forget that people who live in Sun Valley or in Blaine County, just because they choose to live here doesn't mean they should be denied access to life-changing theater experiences. So I think that's probably what the reviewer was talking about, although I don't know for sure. I could ask him.
And you do serve on a couple of national theater boards too, right?
Well, I do, sort of. I mean, I'm a member of TCG, obviously, the Theater Communications Group. Bag and Baggage and Company of Fools are both members of TCG. And yeah, in 2017, I was really honored to be inducted into the National Theater Conference, which is a small group of theater leaders and academics and directors and artists from across the country who really kind of get together in New York once a year and talk about the sort of state of the national theater industry and talk a lot about cultural policy. I'm a little bit of a dork when it comes to cultural policy. I love theater and I love directing, but I also love to talk about how the public sector and how tax law or tourism promotion, how all of those things can really help to grow the cultural industries. So that's a great opportunity at the National Theater Conference to meet with some very smart people from across the country who really want to see theater grow and thrive.
What is the state of theater today?
I think it's good. I mean, I think theater is doing well. I think, as is probably not surprising, you know, the National Endowment for the Arts and funding for the arts is under threat all across the country. We're finding that corporate sponsorships are declining, but what we're also seeing is that individual donors are giving more because they really are beginning to understand, and they always have. They have understood. People have always understood the value that theater brings to a community. I think as we look across, particularly the West, there is an explosion of new talent, young people of color, women, female playwrights, really a remarkable time, particularly in the West, for stories that are deeply rooted here. I often say, why should we always be producing shows that were born in, developed, and are about New York, right? We should focus out here. We have our own interesting lives stories and our own interesting challenges out here in the West, and let's sort of turn our attention to how we can tell our own stories out here. I love New York, don't get me wrong. I love those great plays, but there are also stories to be told out here as well.
I understand another thing you do love is the idea of the Big Idea Project at the Sun Valley Center for the Arts.
I love that.
And if people do not know what that's about, Kristen Poole kind of started it. You take a big idea and you interpret it through visual art, theater, music, the whole gamut.
Yeah.
Why do you love that so much?
Oh, I said to Kristen when on my first phone interview with the team at the center, I said, if you don't give me this job, I'm just going to steal this idea and not give you credit for it. I love it so much. I mean, it really is such a clever and very useful concept, which is to say, let's ask a question. How about everybody in the community think about this one issue? I mean, when I read that there was a big idea about bees and that Company of Fools commissioned an original play to address that, I thought, this is amazing, right? This is such a great idea. The most recent big idea around protest, which I thought was fascinating, and to combine that with with the visual arts and with performances and with music and conversations in schools and Woody Guthrie, right? It just, the sort of weaving all of those things together allows people an opportunity to think about big questions through the frame of the arts, which I think really is the arts job. So I love it. I'm really excited to work with Kristen and with everyone at the center to not only have my own big ideas come forward, but also to figure out how the theater can respond to those in interesting and challenging ways. Yeah, I'm really excited about it.
Are there a couple big questions you're going to be throwing in the pot?
Yeah, I mean, I do. I had a long conversation with Kristen Poole and was saying, I think there are questions that I'd like to see where we talk about things like building, right? What is the heritage of the West, the history of the West around expansion and building? And in Idaho especially, there are some really fascinating architects and really big architectural challenges. We've got the Cooley Dam and all these really amazing structures all over the West that I think could be a really fascinating exploration about our kind of unique history and our unique character. I'm also really interested. I know there have been discussions around looking at the history of women in politics or women in science, which I think is a really fascinating possible topic and question that the theater can really easily kind of expand and examine in interesting ways. Yeah, I mean, I don't know that there's any big idea is a great idea. Let's talk about them all, right? Let's just go through them as quickly as we can and keep having great conversations. I love it. Yeah.
Now, I understand that your dad was born in Burley.
He was.
You came here often to visit your grandmother in Twin Falls.
That's correct.
But you'd never been to Sun Valley
Never
before
been to Sun Valley.
you came here.
That's correct. So yes, my dad and his twin brother both were born in Burley, Idaho, and then they went to high school at Twin Falls High School. They both worked for Albertsons. I know that's a very old school Idaho heritage there. So yeah, my brother and I and my mom and dad would come over all during the summers to visit my grandmother in Twin Falls. which was great fun. So I'm familiar, I've been around this neck of the woods, but not quite this high up.
Okay.
And of course, everybody has heard of Sun Valley and the incredible skiing, and it's so beautiful, and the summer activities, but I'd never been here before. And yeah, the first sort of 4 hours after I got here, I was a little bit altitude sickness. I had a little bit of dizziness, and it is also much drier than Portland, although almost every place in the world is drier than Portland. So getting acclimated to it is going to take a little time, but it is just the most beautiful place. It's absolutely gorgeous.
Well, I can't wait till you have some time to get out and see Sun
Me
Valley.
too.
You are going to be blown away.
Thank you. I'm
and
excited.
We can't wait and see what you have in store for us. So
Thanks
thank
so
you
much.
for joining
My
us,
pleasure,
Scott.
and thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for joining us too. I'm Karen Bosick with Eye on Sun Valley. Until next time, I'm keeping my eye on Sun Valley for you.
Family heritage, quite frankly, it's made us who we are today. We are proud to be Idahoan and proud to be an American. Back to the 1800s, our Idahoan generations would agree. It's been quite an exploration, a real adventure for our families. Farming, cattle ranching, serving the armed forces. We believe every generation should strive for betterment. From our family to yours, dig deep into your heritage. Explore it, live it, learn from it, pass it on. Audio Innovations is an innovative audio-visual company that designs, integrates, and simplifies a truly custom system to keep you comfortable, entertained, and secure in your own home. Audio Innovations TJ's Electric offers a variety of services, from phone systems to lighting control systems, HVAC systems, home theater, electrical, audio, and video, drapery systems, and more. Audio Innovations, 91 East Croy Street, Alturas Plaza, in Haley.
Better food, better price, better service. Atkinson's Market, supporting local farmers since 1956.
Barry Peterson Jewelers, a luxury jewelry store in Ketchum, Idaho, specializing in custom design and repair.
Jewelry making, I look at as more of architecture. A piece of jewelry is more of a link between a man and or woman and or mankind and the gemstone world. And so there is actually a lot of engineering that goes involved, that I think is involved with making a piece of jewelry that someone's going to wear every single day of their life. That part of the 3D thinking is a huge factor.
Create your custom piece with Barry Peterson today.
And then we have to go to our back wheel. Okay, so we got each wheel on here. Now we got to go up one more. Okay, so now here's the tricky part. Back wheel to the rail, to the platform. Let's hear it, everybody. Okay.
I'm Michael David with Eye on Sun Valley Sports, and it's my pleasure to be joined here at Ketchum Town Square by the mountain bike trial stuntman, Robbie Pfunder. Robbie, thanks for being with us.
Hey, Michael, thanks for having me.
So I've been watching what you do. I think you're almost like a mountain bike magician. Tell us a little bit about this sport and this activity.
Yeah, magician's a great way to put it. So it is kind of like magic on a mountain bike. So what I do is called trials riding. So it's all about getting up and over obstacles on our bike. It almost looks like parkour on two wheels, if you've ever seen that.
Sure, yeah.
So it's a lot of brake control, a lot of balance, and it really requires a lot of precision, a lot of years of practice.
I bet. So you've been probably riding a bike since you were a little kid, right?
Yeah. I took the training wheels off at 5 and then got into mountain biking at 14 years old, and I've been doing trials riding and mountain biking for about 20 years now.
Right. So you're a competitor in trial riding as well as a performer.
Yeah, I've been competing for about 18 years in national and regional events all over the country, and then doing professional performances, and, different action sports shows, and my own show for a while.
Very cool. So, but when did it kind of click with you? Like, hey, I can maybe do this as a job. It's something I'm passionate about and I love.
Well, I think as you get a little older, you kind of got to find your priorities with that balance between hobbies and what you're doing for an actual living, and biking was just such a huge part of my life that I decided to just go all in and make this my profession and do shows full time.
Sure, and then there's an entrepreneurial part of that deal, obviously, right? You're yourself, you're a business, and how? So you travel around the country doing this stuff?
Yeah, so I travel mainly around the Mountain States region, all around the different states, doing different events ranging from county fairs to mountain bike festivals to school assemblies. And I also have some events out east as well, but I like to stay kind of targeted in the mountain states.
Right. No, that's great. And we're here in Ketchum. This is your first time to Ketchum, Idaho. What do you think in the first few hours?
This is my first afternoon in Ketchum, and I love it. It's so beautiful out here. I love mountain towns like this where there's a big life, in a small town.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, it just has a really good vibe.
Sure, and you're not just here just some random weekend to bring Robbie Pfunder in too. We got Outer Bike going on, and we got the NICA their convention. This is a bike friendly place, and I'm sure that's what you experience when you travel around.
Very bike friendly. Outer Bike's super cool. It's the greatest bike demo event in the world, or in the U.S. So you can go there and test ride any of these mountain bikes if you get the full pass.
Sure,
and meet all the different vendors and meet different riders. It's a super fun time. They got shuttles going up and down.
No, it's great. We're excited to host Outer Bike this weekend. Now, I would imagine though, you can't demo one of these. Tell us a little bit about your bike.
Yeah, these bikes are very special here, so hopefully we can see it, but these bikes have really, really strong brakes, so the brakes are hydraulic. They got a really low frame, very specific geometry for the type of riding I do.
Sure.
And a really low seat and a really low gear ratio, so I can get a lot of torque really quickly.
Fantastic. Tell us a little bit about some of the tricks and the obstacles that in your show.
So in the show, I have different boxes set up of different heights with different platforms. I also have a lot of hand railings.
Right.
So it takes a lot of precision riding. You got to stop with one wheel on the top of a handrail.
Right.
Make sure your brakes are really strong for that. But first and foremost, I'm always wearing a helmet, gloves.
Sure.
You got to put
Safety
in a lot of practice to do this stuff.
So. That's great. God, so it would be so awesome if we could get a little footage of you, but none of your obstacles are set up. Do you have? I mean, is there anything you could show us?
Well, I do have one thought. I don't have any obstacles over here, but what if we kind of turned you into maybe a human obstacle and
me?
Yeah, did a little demo with you. Yeah,
I could trust you.
Do you trust me?
You've done this. You've done this.
We haven't known each other that long, but I feel like if we
let's give it a go.
Right, let's give it a go. Cool. So we'll have you lay down right here. In a pencil shape, so you'll keep your legs and your arms nice and tight.
My body's not exactly a pencil
you're
shape.
Jumping into the pool like when you're a kid.
Okay. Oh, right. So to minimize it. Okay, is this good?
So the first thing we'll do, I'll kind of roll up here, get my brakes tested out.
Ooh.
We'll stop right next to you. So this is called a track stand, and then what we'll do is I'll just get my wheel right over you here, and we'll move up nice and close. If you could just give my bike a quick check over while you're down there.
Looks good from down here.
How are my cranks looking?
Your cranks look good.
All right,
you might need a new pair of shoes. Whoa!
Now let's do one more thing. If you could just check the tread on my front tire.
Tread looks good. Yeah, real good.
All right.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Thanks, Michael.
Wow, that was I didn't doubt you for a second.
You didn't flinch at all, so that's a big win.
That's great. Well, you're going to be out here performing for everyone, and it's so wonderful to have you here, learn a little bit about it, and we'll be following you around the country. My guest has been Robbie Pfunder, the mountain bike magician. I'm Michael David with Eye on Sun Valley Sports, keeping my eye on Wood River Valley sports for you.
Idaho.